Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I am your host, Eric Smith. Today I am talking about Gnelfs by Sidney Williams. Is that correct? Yes, it's Sidney Williams. This was originally published by Pinnacle, I believe, in 1991, but this new edition is from Macabre Inc., which is why this is not a retro review. This is readily available. Look at that great cover. So this is the story of Heaven and her mother. Heaven is almost 5 years old. She's a huge fan of the Gnelfs. Think Smurfs, but more troll-like. But at the very start of the book, she's having a nightmare about the Gnelfs. She's being terrorized by the Gnelfs. Are the Gnelfs real? Is she just having some psychological problems? Well, the blood's gonna flow, I'll tell you that much. So, yeah, that's the nutshell, I suppose. Anyway, this is a great example, I think, of early '90s horror. I don't know, like '91. Does that still fit in the Paperbacks from Hell time frame? Because it seems like it should. This is the original cover, I believe, from what I found online. And it's a wild story. As I said, we start with Heaven screaming in the middle of the night because she's having this nightmare about the Gnelfs. So we meet her mother, single mother. Her husband has left her. She's working, they're adjusting to not having dad around. And we meet some other characters. There's a potential love interest when Heaven's mother meets a local author, mystery author, but things get crazier and crazier. They start to escalate. It builds, and it takes some twists and turns. This is written. Basically, the style to me is the same as most of what you'd find in sort of those late 80s, early 90s pulpish horror books. There's nothing really groundbreaking about the writing style, but it does take some interesting twists and turns. There was a moment where I said to myself, holy shit, I can't believe that just happened. Shocked by something the author did, but it's not just a little girl and her mother being terrorized by these tiny creatures. It goes beyond that, and the story itself is more complex, for lack of a better way to put it. There's deeper things going on, even though it's very easy to read. The writing isn't. I was going to say the writing isn't deep, but that sounds bad. The writing isn't complex, but there are layers to the story and what's going on. I really, really enjoyed this. I gave it 4 out of 5. Judith Sonnet was singing its praises, so I picked it up, and thanks to Judith Sonnet for putting it on my radar. And it seems like I'm just looking at the time. This seems very short because I don't want to give anything at all away, and it starts pretty quickly. So you have Heaven having the nightmares, her mom trying to figure out why she's having these nightmares, what may have triggered. There's a lot of parental guilt with Heaven's mother, but eventually, of course, we learn, the reader learns very early on that it's not just in Heaven's head, but and then the twists and the turns start coming, the deeper things going on, and that holy shit moment. So I recommend this if you're a fan of that type of pulpy, wild paperback from hell type of horror. I don't think you can go wrong with this. It's not some great masterpiece that's going to change your life, but I think it will entertain you. As I said, I gave it 4 out of 5, which means I really liked it, and that's true. I've looked up now. I'm looking for more of Sidney Williams' work, See if it's as good as this. Hopefully, it's as easy to find and purchase as this one was. Um, so I guess that's it. I don't know what else to say. I don't need to drag it out. These videos don't all have to be really, really long. So, question for the video is, I don't know if I've specifically asked this. Are you a fan of the paperbacks from hell, pulpy type of horror, where you're just getting crazy stuff going on? It's not really deep. I mean, this isn't Clive Barker or Stephen King. This is just fun, wild horror. And there are some horrific things that happen. It's not light, as far as like what goes on in the story. Are you a fan of that? You know, some people don't dig that kind of thing, but I am. Obviously, if you've watched my channel, you know that I love that kind of stuff. I have all of the paperbacks from hell that Valancourt has put out so far, and I've got a ton of actual old paperbacks that fit into the paperbacks from hell category. I mean, I grew up reading that stuff. Some of it's not great. I have a bunch of William Johnstone stuff, and that can occasionally be hard to get through, but it can still be entertaining. Um, there are some political things going on that I have to sort of just grin and bear it, or grit my teeth. But sometimes they're better than others. And I guess that kind of goes with a lot of the stuff that came out in that era. There's some that really are, I think, stand up as classics, and then some that aren't quite so good, but a lot of them are just wild and entertaining. Are you a fan of that sort of thing? Do you like to stick with more traditional horror? Let me know in the comments below. If you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put those in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post spoiler warning. We try to be polite here at the Low Budget Review Show. Please like, share, and subscribe, all the usual YouTube stuff. And if you'd care to follow me on other social media, my Twitter is @Ronan5757. My Instagram, where I post pictures of books, comic books, board games, and fuzzy animals, is Eric Smith 5757. That's Eric with a K, ERIKSMITH 5757. And if you're on Blue Sky, I am @EL Smith. That's all I have for you this week. This has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Eric Smith, and until next time, read more books.